Life is full of moments that can make or break us. But today, I want to talk to you about something that might sound a bit strange at first. I want to share with you a powerful secret that can change your life forever. Are you ready? Here it is. Keep your mouth shut whenever you're happy. Now, you might be thinking, what? That doesn't make any sense. But trust me, there's profound wisdom in these words. Let's break it down together. Then good things happen to us. Our first instinct is often to shout it from the rooftops. We want to tell everyone about our success, our joy, our achievements. It's natural to want to share our happiness. But here's the thing. Not everyone will be happy for you. In this world, there are people who will celebrate your victories with you, and there are those who will secretly hope for your downfall. It's a hard truth, but it's one we must face. By keeping quiet about your happiness, you're protecting yourself from the negative energy of those who might wish you ill. But it's not just about protection. It's about focus. When you're constantly talking about how happy you are, you're not fully experiencing that happiness. You're diluting it. You're spreading it thin. But instead of savoring the moment, you're busy telling everyone about it. Think about it like this. When you have a delicious meal in front of you, do you immediately start taking pictures and telling everyone about it? Or do you take the time to savor each bite, to truly taste and enjoy the food? Happiness is the same way. It's meant to be experienced, not broadcasted. There's also power in silence. When you keep your happiness to yourself, you're building inner strength. You're learning to find joy and contentment within yourself rather than seeking validation from others. This is a crucial skill in life because, let me tell you something, the opinions of others are like the weather, always changing, often unpredictable, and sometimes stormy. But your inner peace, that's like a deep, calm ocean. No matter what's happening on the surface, deep down, you remain unshaken. That's the kind of strength I want for you. That's the kind of power that comes from keeping your mouth shut when you're happy. Now, I'm not saying you should never share your joy. There are times when it's appropriate and even necessary to express your happiness. But choose those moments wisely. Share your happiness with those who truly care about you, those who will genuinely celebrate your success. Here's another important point. When you keep quiet about your happiness, you're giving yourself time to process it. You're allowing yourself to fully understand and appreciate what's happening. Too often, we rush to tell others about our good fortune before we've even had a chance to really grasp it ourselves. By keeping quiet, you're giving yourself the gift of reflection. You're allowing yourself to ask important questions. Why am I happy? What led to this moment? How can I create more moments like this in the future? These questions lead to growth, to deeper understanding, to true wisdom. There's also something to be said for the element of surprise. When you keep your happiness to yourself, you're building momentum in silence. You're allowing your success to compound without interference. And then when the time is right, when you've achieved even more than you initially set out to do, that's when you can share your story. And let me tell you, the impact will be so much greater. Think about it like planting a seed. When you plant a seed, do you dig it up every day to see if it's growing? Of course not. You let it grow in the darkness of the soil, nurtured by water and nutrients. Your happiness, your success, your achievements, they're like that seed. They need time to grow strong roots before they're ready to be exposed to the world. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but isn't it selfish to keep my happiness to myself? Shouldn't I spread joy to others? And that's a valid question. But here's the thing, true joy, true happiness, it radiates from within. When you're genuinely happy, people will see it in your eyes, in your smile, in the way you carry yourself. You don't need to say a word. In fact, by not saying anything, you're giving others the opportunity to notice your joy for themselves. And when they do, when they see that quiet confidence, that inner peace, they'll be inspired. They want to know your secret. And that's when you can share, not just your happiness, but the wisdom that led to it. There's also a practical benefit to keeping your mouth shut when you're happy. It helps you maintain a level head. Success can be intoxicating. It can make us overconfident, even arrogant. By keeping quiet, you're reminding yourself to stay humble, to keep working hard, to never take your blessings for granted. Remember, life is full of ups and downs. Today's success could be tomorrow's challenge. By not broadcasting every bit of good news, you're preparing yourself for the inevitable setbacks. You're building resilience. Because when tough times come, and they will come, you'll have that inner strength to fall back on. Now let's talk about envy for a moment. It's an unfortunate reality that not everyone will be happy for your success. Some people, when they hear about your happiness, will feel bad about their own lives. They might even try to bring you down, consciously or unconsciously. By keeping your mouth shut, you're avoiding unnecessary conflict. But more than that, you're giving others the space to find their own happiness. When we constantly talk about how great our lives are, we can inadvertently make others feel inadequate. By keeping quiet, you're allowing others to shine, to find their own path to joy without feeling like they're in your shadow. There's also something to be said for the power of mystery. When you're not constantly sharing every detail of your life, people become curious. They want to know more about you. This can be incredibly powerful in both personal and professional relationships. It makes you more interesting, more intriguing. People are drawn to those who seem to have an inner source of happiness and confidence. I'm not advocating for complete silence or isolation. We are social creatures, and sharing our lives with others is an important part of the human experience. What I'm suggesting is a balance. Share your happiness selectively, mindfully, with those who have earned your trust and who genuinely care about your well-being. Think of your happiness like a precious gem. You wouldn't show it to just anyone, would you? You'd keep it safe, only bringing it out for special occasions or to share with those closest to you. Treat your happiness the same way. Guard it, cherish it, and share it wisely. There's also a spiritual aspect to this practice. Many religious and philosophical traditions emphasize the importance of inner peace and contentment. By keeping your mouth shut when you're happy, you're cultivating a sense of inner joy that doesn't depend on external validation. You're learning to find satisfaction within yourself rather than seeking it from others. This inner contentment is like a wellspring. The more you nurture it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger it becomes, the more it can sustain you through life's challenges. It's a source of strength that no one can take away from you because it comes from within. Now let's talk about the power of observation. When you're not busy talking about your own happiness, you have more time and energy to observe the world around you. You might notice things you've never seen before. You might gain new insights into the people and situations in your life. This heightened awareness can lead to even greater happiness and success in the long run. There's also something to be said for the power of anticipation. When you keep your happiness to yourself, you're building anticipation for the future. You're creating a sense of excitement about what's to come. This can be incredibly motivating, driving you to achieve even more. Think about it like this: when you're planning a surprise with someone, isn't half the fun and keeping the secret, the anticipation, the excitement, the knowing smile you share with others who are in on the surprise? All of these add to the joy of the event. Your happiness can be like that surprise party. By keeping it to yourself, you're building anticipation not just for others, but for yourself as well. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, but isn't this just suppressing my emotions? Isn't that unhealthy? And that's a valid concern. But here's the: keeping your mouth shut when you're happy isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about channeling them, directing them inward to fuel your growth and success. Think of it like this: when you exercise, you're putting your body under stress. But that stress, when applied correctly, leads to growth and strength. By not immediately expressing your happiness outwardly, you're directing that energy inward, using it to fuel your personal growth and development. There's also a practical benefit to this approach in our modern, hyper-connected world. In the age of social media, where everyone seems to be sharing every aspect of their lives, there's power in privacy. You're not broadcasting your happiness. You're maintaining a sense of mystery, of depth. You're showing that you don't need constant validation from others to feel good about yourself. This can be incredibly attractive, both personally and professionally. People are drawn to those who seem to have an inner source of strength and happiness. By keeping your mouth shut, when you're happy, you're cultivating that inner strength, and it will show in everything you do. Now, let's talk about the power of gratitude. When you keep your happiness to yourself, you're giving yourself the opportunity to really feel grateful for what you have. Instead of immediately sharing your good fortune with others, take a moment to thank God or the universe or whatever higher power you believe in. This practice of gratitude can amplify your happiness and attract even more blessings into your life. There's also something to be said for the power of discretion. In life and in business, knowing when to speak and when to stay silent is a valuable skill. By practicing keeping your mouth shut when you're happy, you're developing this skill. You're learning to be strategic about what you share when you share it. This can serve you well in all areas of your life. Now, I wanted to address something that some of you might be feeling. You might be thinking, but I want to inspire others with my success. How can I do that if I keep quiet? And that's a noble intention. But here's the thing. True inspiration doesn't come from words alone. It comes from actions, from the way you live your life. By quietly pursuing your goals, by silently conquering your challenges, by discreetly achieving your dreams, you're setting an example. You're showing others what's possible. And when the time is right, when you've achieved even more than you initially set out to do, that's when your story will have the most impact. That's when you can truly inspire others, not just with your words, but with your actions and your results. There's also a practical benefit to this approach when it comes to dealing with setbacks. Life isn't always smooth sailing. There will be times when things don't go as planned, when you face challenges or failures. If you've been quiet about your successes, you'll have more room to maneuver when things get tough. You won't have to explain yourself to everyone because you haven't been broadcasting every step of your journey. This doesn't mean you should face your challenges alone. It's important to have a support system, people you can turn to when things get tough. But by being selective about who you share your joys and your struggles with, you're creating a more intimate, more meaningful support network. Now, let's talk about the power of focus. When you're not constantly talking about your happiness or your success, you have more time and energy to focus on your goals. You're not getting distracted by the reactions of others, whether positive or negative. You're able to keep your eye on the prize, to stay committed to your vision. This focus is crucial for long-term success. It's what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who just talk about them. By keeping your mouth shut when you're happy, you're training yourself to stay focused, to keep pushing forward even when things are going well. There's also something to be said for the power of humility. When we're constantly talking about our successes, it's easy to become prideful, to start thinking we're better than others. But true greatness comes from humility. By keeping quiet about your happiness, you're reminding yourself to stay humble, to remember that your success is not just about you, but about the impact you can have on others. Now, I want to address something that some of you might be feeling. You might be thinking, but isn't this isolating? Won't I be lonely if I'm not sharing my happiness with others? And that's a valid concern. But here's the thing. True connection doesn't come from constantly sharing every detail of our lives. It comes from deep, meaningful relationships built on trust and mutual understanding. By being selective about who you share your happiness with, you're actually creating the opportunity for deeper, more meaningful connections. You're showing that you value quality over quantity when it comes to relationships. And let me tell you, having a few deep, genuine relationships is far more fulfilling than having hundreds of superficial ones. There's also a practical benefit to this approach when it comes to dealing with negativity. Unfortunately, not everyone will be happy for your success. Some people might be jealous or resentful, or simply unable to celebrate your joy. By keeping your mouth shut when you're happy, you're protecting yourself from this negativity. You're not giving others the opportunity to rain on your parade. But more than that, you're giving yourself the opportunity to process your happiness fully before you have to deal with any negative reactions. This can help you stay grounded, to maintain your joy even in the face of others' negativity. Now, let's talk about the power of timing. In life and in business, timing is everything. By keeping quiet about your happiness, you're giving yourself the opportunity to choose the perfect moment to share your success. Maybe that's when you've achieved even more than you initially set out to do. Maybe it's when you're in a position to help others achieve similar success. Whatever the case, by keeping your mouth shut, you're giving yourself control over your narrative. There's also something to be said for the power of reflection. When we're constantly talking about our happiness, we don't give ourselves the time to really reflect on it. By keeping quiet, you're creating space for introspection. You're giving yourself the opportunity to really understand what's making you happy, why it's important to you, and how you can create more moments like this in the future. This reflection is crucial for personal growth. It's what allows us to learn from our experiences, to continually improve and evolve. By keeping your mouth shut when you're happy, you're creating the conditions for deep, meaningful personal growth. Now, I want to address something that some of you might be feeling. You might be thinking, but isn't this selfish? Shouldn't I be sharing my blessings with others? And that's a beautiful sentiment. But here's the thing, true generosity doesn't come from talking about our blessings. It comes from using those blessings to help others. By keeping quiet about your happiness, you're giving yourself the opportunity to think about how you can use your success to make a positive impact on the world. Instead of just talking about your blessings, you can focus on how to be a blessing to others. And let me tell you, that's far more powerful than any words could ever be. There's also a practical benefit to this approach when it comes to maintaining your success. Success is not a destination. It's a journey. By keeping your mouth shut when you're happy, you're reminding yourself to keep working hard, to keep pushing forward. You're not resting on your laurels, but constantly striving for more. This mindset is crucial for long-term success. It's what allows you to turn moments of happiness into a lifetime of fulfillment. By keeping quiet, you're cultivating a hunger for growth, a desire for continuous improvement that will serve you well throughout your life. Now, let's talk about the power of presence. When we're constantly talking about our happiness, we're often living in the past or the future. We're living past successes or anticipating future ones. But true joy comes from being present in the moment. By keeping your mouth shut when you're happy, you're giving yourself the opportunity to fully experience the present moment, to really savor your happiness. This presence is a gift. It allows you to fully appreciate your blessings, to really feel the depth of your joy. And the more you practice this presence, the more you'll find that happiness is not something that happens to you, but something that you cultivate within yourself. There's also something to be said for the power of intuition. When we're constantly seeking validation from others, we can lose touch with our own inner voice. By keeping quiet about your happiness, you're creating space to listen to your intuition, to trust your own judgment. This can lead to better decision making and a stronger sense of self. Now, I want to address something that some of you might be feeling. You might be thinking, but isn't this dishonest? Am I not being true to myself if I'm not expressing my happiness? And that's a thoughtful question. But here's the thing. Honesty isn't about sharing every thought and feeling we have. It's about being true to our values, about living with integrity.